Welcome, wrestling friends, to another edition of Smarknado. I'm your host, Eric Druckman. With me, as always, the dirty Danaconda, Dan Sesnit. Hey,
I have missed you guys.
Yeah, so great to be back here. Life happens, things don't go as planned sometimes.
We took a post WrestleMania hiatus. We overloaded on wrestling that weekend anyway. We deserved a little bit of a break.
Yeah, but also some things were out of our control. But it is what it is. We are back now. We're not going to cover all of WrestleMania because I know that everyone's kind of moved on. But we're gonna look at some key points there, and we're gonna try to get right back into the swing of things. A bunch of different stuff that's going on in professional wrestling. Dan, let's just start with just the fallout from WrestleMania.
So I just want to lead off with a quick WrestleMania opinion. I think we can all agree that night one kind of universally sucked and night two was kind of universally awesome. I just wanted to sort of put that out there in the universe. So I'm glad that we didn't sort of end up in Vegas to see night one, which would have been the plan, I think. But all in all, I really enjoyed the weekend. I got to hang out with you guys. So,
you know what? I agree with that. I think they had a strong main event night one. If I had to say something about night one that was really positive, I thought that was great. Jacob Fatu and LA Knight, decent. Jade Cargill and Naomi, also decent. It's not that those matches were bad. It just wasn't as strong as night two.
It didn't hit like a WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It hit like a good pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
It did. And I'm not going to say that if it stood alone, it would have been a bad show. I just think compared to the second show, it was just not nearly as good.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Also, I would say the one thing that didn't set right with me at WrestleMania Night 1, which appropriately was the first match, was not the fact that Jey Uso beat Gunther, but the fact that Jey Uso tapped Gunther.
Yeah, that didn't make much sense to me.
It didn't make sense, and the fact that to this point Gunther hadn't tapped out at all, and they weren't really telling the story leading up to this match of the idea of Gunther tapping out. I just feel like the moment of Jey Uso winning the championship is enough, and you could have saved Gunther finally tapping out for a completely different storyline. It didn't have to be here.
Well, he was getting choked out on a weekly basis, so it sort of made sense. But I see your point. I don't like Gunther tapping out, especially when Jey Uso has never in his career been known as a submission artist.
No, exactly.
So
exactly.
And to tap out to a rear naked choke, it didn't really make a hell of a lot of sense.
He tapped out quick.
Very, very.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It was disappointing, but I think that if you listen to this show, you know that we're not necessarily big Jey Uso fans, especially in the heavyweight title picture.
I know that we're not big Jey Uso fans, but at least for me, I just kind of concede to the fact that his popularity is undeniable, and I'm not going to complain that they're pushing him if the fans are enjoying it. You know what I mean?
I don't know that all fans are. I think there's some Jey Uso fatigue that's starting to set in a little bit.
Well, we'll see. We'll know for sure within the next month or so. We're still relatively early coming off of.
And I think it's easy. I think it'll be easy to get Jey Uso fatigue if his next program is truly going to be Logan Paul. I have no interest in that whatsoever.
I have no interest in it either, but on WWE's part, I kind of get it just for the fact that the people that are kind of not all the way there with Jey Uso, they're going to be there cheering him when he's facing Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think that'll add to the fatigue that they're kind of pushing him on us as a babyface in the hardest way possible. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just, the shtick's not for me. I like you. I understand that it is something that is undeniable, but
kids are absolutely wild about Jey Uso, and that really does matter. the boys that live below me in my apartment complex, they're yeeting all the time.
Oh, okay. How old are they?
Like
30.
no, like 10 and 7.
Oh, okay.
Laura's kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Shout out Laura.
yeah. So, yeah, and I don't think the older one watches, but that's beside the point. They're crazy about Jey Uso, and I know that a lot of kids are crazy about Jey Uso. So, I mean, it's one of those things, you know. All right, so I do think that Seth Rollins winning the main event, and aligning with Paul Heyman, probably the most prolific thing that happened that night because it's leading.
Arguably the most prolific thing that happened outside of number 17.
Yeah, yep. So we're off to the races there, and we'll touch on the new group for Seth. Actually, let's talk about it right now.
Yeah, we don't have to backtrack.
Yeah. So Seth Rollins finally came out to explain himself with Heyman, and it turns out that Braun Breaker is now going to be part of this. They have a 3-man group with each other.
They all get
the spray tan mafia. You beat me to that was about a tan joke was about to come out of my mouth, and you beat me to it. Yeah, these guys tan a lot.
It's embarrassing actually. But I love this group.
Yeah.
I think that it's the right group. I think that they ultimately will add one more piece, be it a female or a male, whoever it is.
I think it should just be Becky, and you keep it at that.
Becky would be a great addition. I also think a guy like Carmelo Hayes would earn a lot of credibility in a spot like that.
Sure.
So there's a lot. Becky makes the most sense, but I think Becky's got to finish out this thing with Lyra first before she can join a group.
Yeah, absolutely. But I like the fact that the first guy that's really fighting against this group is Sami Zayn.
Yes.
Because he was left out in the cold on the WrestleMania card.
Yeah.
And he really did need something to do. I think it was pretty obvious he was going to have some sort of part in the Randy Orton Kevin Owens match that was supposed to happen.
Oh, without a doubt, he would have had to have. They could have pivoted somewhere and got him on the card somehow still, but I understand, best laid plans. And,
and I also think that this is good because it's been well documented, the friendship between Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins and how their families hang out with each other and stuff. Now they travel the roads with each other for years prior to WWE. So I think he's the right guy. Also, his history with Braun Breaker,
Yeah, I mean, he's arguably, you could make the case outside of Jey Uso maybe that Sami Zayn's the biggest baby face in the company.
Biggest baby face in the company for sure. And one thing that didn't set well with me a couple weeks ago was the fact that fans kept chanting one more time for Braun Breaker to continuously spear Sami Zayn.
Yeah, they get hyped up for that spear. They get hype up for that spear. I get the energy for it, but no, it's no, you don't want your biggest baby face to get taken out like that.
Yeah, some fans are fucking assholes. Just want chaos.
A lot of fans are fucking assholes.
Yeah, 100%.
Because a lot of people are fucking assholes.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Exactly. Yes. So, also want to elaborate WrestleMania night 2. Perhaps the best match was the triple threat for the Women's World Championship: Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. I don't think you get a more beat by beat perfect triple threat match than that within a 15-minute time frame.
Yeah, it didn't get a lot of time at all. I thought that they might go a little bit longer there, and I was pleasantly surprised by the outcome of the match. I don't think anybody kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, I'll say post WrestleMania though, I really see why they went with Io. I think Io just brings so much energy and can have a great match with anybody. And I think she's catching on really well as a babyface.
Yeah, the
Fans are
crowd
really,
loves her. You could see the people this past Monday,
yeah,
like doing her little like finger pointing move in the crowd. There were
yeah, yeah,
and as I've said, she's got the most slappingest theme song that there is.
absolutely. Yep. Um, wonder if Damage Control is really going to come back at all. Is that just done?
Well, yeah, because Dakota Kai got released.
She got released, yeah. But where does that leave Asuka and Kyrie Sane? Do you
I
think
don't
they come
know.
back as a tag team? Do they have Eos back? You know,
I think Asuka and Kyrie ultimately come back together. Obviously,
I think that's okay, but a part of me is like, I feel like we've never seen main roster singles push for Kyrie Sane, and I think she is somebody that would kill it because I think people forget that she has one of the most slept on, coolest finishing moves in the game.
the elbow.
The elbow, yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
insane
insane
elbow.
elbow. Yeah. I completely agree. Sorry, I got sidetracked. The Celtics just keep putting up fucking threes like it's their job.
Oh, the Celtics against the Knicks.
The New York Knickerbockers is currently on in the background here, but
Yeah,
I digress.
just to pivot real quick. Yeah, it's crazy how the Knicks won game one against the
Absolutely
Celtics.
bonkers.
Yeah. And I also have a question for you, just off topic.
Yeah,
Have you seen any of the HBO doc series about the Celtics and their history?
I have not yet, and I am interested to see it because they do have such a deep history. And I'll be honest, man, I was a huge Larry Bird fan.
Yeah.
So that I grew up, when I was very, very little watching Larry and Magic
Yeah. It's
against each
part of
other.
for me. It's like I have a lot of family roots in Boston.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not a Boston sports fan, which is
Yeah.
crazy. I just kind of grew up in the era where like New York sports and certain athletes were kind of killing it, and then
Oh, I get it, man. I get it. I have the weirdest selection of favorite teams. I never, I'm a pretty chill sports fan. I just if they win, they win. If they lose, they lose. That's kind of the
you
way
have
I
the
live.
worst sports that you're a fan of. The Red
Uh,
Sox and the Eagles. Come on.
yeah, I mean the world champion Philadelphia Eagles, my
Yeah,
friend.
they are
Uh,
world champions. That is true.
um,
Anyway, I think we should have a football show at some point.
that would be great. Maybe we'll do a kickoff show when the season gets closer. That'd be
Yes,
fun.
absolutely,
Have some
absolutely.
friends on.
I mean, God, I'm listening. I'm proud fans. I know you're here for wrestling, but yeah, I might be listening to more Dynasty football podcasts these days than I do wrestling podcasts.
I don't listen to any podcasts outside of true crime, to be completely honest with you. And I
Okay,
don't even really listen to those. I don't do.
you're a dad now.
I watch Miss Rachel, bro. Like that's what I watch. I
Yeah,
can't even get my kid to watch cool shit like Bluey. It's
that's
sad.
tough. Just Miss Rachel.
Just she fucking loves Miss Rachel, bro. Miss Rachel and Elmo. It's
Elmo's awesome.
Elmo is pretty awesome, but
Elmo's my dude. Don't lose the funding.
nah,
Oh,
he's
that's just gonna make me sad. Let's talk about wrestling more.
shout out PBS. Shit. All right, where do we leave off? Did we bring up? I don't think we brought it up, and I don't remember which night it was because I smoke a lot of weed and it was a month ago. What night was the Randy Orton match? Was that night 2?
I too. Yep.
All right, so we didn't get to that yet, and I want to talk about.
So I think that the problem with that match was, first of all, I don't know if it was Fightful. I probably wasn't Fightful, but somebody was reporting that it was going to be Aleister Black. And we got to the point where we all kind of convinced ourselves that it was going to be Aleister Black. So we had the full expectation it was going to be him. So really at that point, anyone else would be a disappointment, right?
I am in a weird way glad it wasn't Aleister Black because Randy wasn't going to lose.
Yep.
So to give a guy like Joe Hendry that spotlight, is it good for him? Yeah, good on him. Like, that's great. But you took that away from somebody that's really truly earned it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody on the roster. And I'm
Yeah.
not necessarily saying it's Aleister Black or Rusev, who debuted recently as well. You know, I'm not saying anything like that, but there's a lot of guys out there or in that locker room that would have killed for that spot.
Maybe they could have at some point, like a respect match between Randy Orton and Sami Zayn, even.
Whatever you want to do, like
Yeah.
there should have been some form of WWE superstar.
Yeah.
I hate saying superstar, but a wrestler on the roster that got that spot.
Yeah,
But
and it's obvious that this match happened for the moment.
and it was a huge pop, and the crowd loved it.
Yeah,
Right?
and it happened for the moment of Joe Hendry smiling, and then he gets RKO'd, and that's going to be a meme. If it isn't already, that is a meme.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good. Everything was good. It was a good match. Joe Hendry's a very good wrestler.
3 minutes though.
But yeah, like what did it do for Joe Henry's career? Truly,
I think it helped him. It definitely raised his profile. He's on NXT now.
yeah.
In
But
a
like
more prominent.
NXT has,
He's feuding with Trick Williams.
yeah, he is.
Mm-hmm.
That's big for him. But I mean, there's still 100 people in an NXT audience.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I liked that Orton was on the show, and let's just even talk about this right now too. I love that Orton is the next challenger of John Cena.
It makes so much sense that it's ridiculous.
It is so weird that he is the challenger, and we endured so many years of being like, oh, fuck this match. I'm so tired of this fucking match. Cena and Orton again? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it was some combination of Cena, Orton, and Batista for a fucking decade.
And then they haven't wrestled each other for over a decade at this point. The roles have been changed. They're kind of like at the end right now. And now it's like, ooh. I like this.
It's very intriguing. Both guys can still do what they did in the ring because neither of them were ever very technical. So it's not like they've really lost a step that badly. I think it'll be a really fun match, a good mini feud, and Cena definitely.
I'm liking the promos, man. I'm liking the fact that like Cena is going after like the Orton family and just hitting really deep with Randy, because when Randy is like hit in his feels, when he's like personally taken by something, like you get the best promo work out of him. And I think we're seeing some masterclass promo work from the both of them coming out of
They're
this.
legends in the game of promos, so it doesn't surprise me in the slightest that this is the case.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're crushing it right now, and I'm enjoying every single minute of it. And I would not, if I told myself 10 years ago that I'm saying this right now, he would have said, "What the fuck happened?"
Oh yeah, no, you would have had to been checked into a fucking mental facility.
Yeah,
even as much as 5 years ago, we probably would have been crazy to think it.
Yeah,
but right now in the moment, the story behind it, the chance for Orton to go for 15 or 14,
I think it would be 15.
15.
He has 14 right now.
For him to get 15 would be is a good story.
I hope obviously he beats Cena's record.
What's that?
I hope he beats Cena's record.
He very well could. I mean, he's been a highly respected dude for a lot of fucking years. So, why not?
He's just become that old vet in the 40s, in their 40s, that like you do not want to fuck with. Like he just kind of reminds me of like in the AWA, you would see like the Crusher or someone like that, just like an old dude, but just tough, like, you know what I mean?
Like reminiscent of Sheamus as well.
Yeah, Sheamus is the same kind of way. Yeah, and I love, and that's another thing. 10 years ago, me would never have believed. I don't think I ever would have believed that I'm enjoying the work of Sheamus. But
Sheamus had a
Sheamus
great
was
match this past week.
Sheamus had an awesome match on Raw. Yeah, I agree, man. Um, let's just pivot back though to the WrestleMania main event of night two because
Yes.
I think we do kind of need to touch on it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so the outcome was what we expected. We knew
Yes.
that there was going to be some chicanery. Um, thing that didn't set well with most people was The Rock not showing up there, even though The Rock definitely
Orchestrated fucking everything and made
yeah,
no sense.
yeah, it sucked. It sucked, and his excuse at the end, his fucking lip service that he's given everyone about why he wasn't there is just fucking bullshit.
Whatever
And
the reason.
also the match itself wasn't that good. I mean, I think that Cena and Cody Rhodes have the ability to put on a good match with each other, but I had to laugh at the fact that the match sucked and people were complaining, and there were people defending that the match sucked by saying John Cena said you don't get anything. It's like, so what do you expect? And it's just like, well, I mean, that doesn't mean you can't be fucking pissed about how shitty the match was, because it kind of was.
And I don't think John Cena wasn't going to give us anything. He's clearly given us everything as far as promos are concerned.
Yeah.
That's a silly, it's a silly rebuttal. But the fact is, it was just not a great match. It was not a fantastic main event, and
No.
night one's main event was better.
In fact, and we never even got an explanation of really Cena's association with Travis Scott, even.
And we never will.
Are we just not?
Probably not. Why would
It's so
we?
stupid. It's so dumb. I don't know. That didn't sit well with me. Anyway, yeah. So we picked up on Cena versus Orton. I think another thing that we kind of have to also need to talk about from WrestleMania week, just because it wasn't on WrestleMania, but was arguably one of the best matches of the entire week, was the TLC triple threat between
on SmackDown.
Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, and DIY.
It was better than most of the matches on WrestleMania, both nights.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah, I would, honest to God, put that TLC match up there with any of the originals. Is that a hot take?
No, I don't think it is. Just because, I was thinking this. I was actually watching Get Up this morning. I don't know if you watched that show at all, but Mad Dog is on there.
I don't have time to watch shows in the morning before work.
See, I have just enough time to watch Get Up and have some coffee before the kids get up. So on Get Up, they had a list where Mad Dog had his best clutch playoff shots, and it was all this shit that nobody's ever fucking seen. And that's kind of how I feel with a lot of the older matches. New old NBA players couldn't stand up to the new league, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a lot of the Hardys or the Dudleys could stand up with the new wrestling style that is now. So
except Hardys and Dudleys, right? I'm glad that you just mentioned those two.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's certainly a different pace. To an extent, they're all better athletes.
Far better athletes.
I would say the one thing that the older ones had that this didn't necessarily have is like a big dive off the ladder through a table.
Yeah, that's because they didn't have Jeff Hardy in this.
Because Jeff Hardy, right.
If Darby Allin was in this match, he would have killed himself.
For sure. It was awesome stuff. All in all those guys worked their asses off. I'm looking forward to hopefully a long reign for the Street Profits, and hopefully a reign that really solidifies them as one of the best tag teams out.
As you know, I've been a Street Profits fan for the longest. I still have the original "We Want the Smoke" shirt.
Were you at did you go to the NXT show back with us in like 2015, I want to say? And the Street Profits were on there when they were just kind of starting out as a tag
Probably.
team. Yeah, and they kind of had like this Key and Peele routine.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
It
do
was
vaguely
fun.
remember.
It was over though. It was
Yeah,
fun. People enjoyed it.
I mean,
Um
they know how to get over. Montez
Mhm.
Ford is a fucking genius.
Yeah, and Dawkins is a fucking great wrestler too.
Fantastic, underrated even.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I like those guys a lot. As much as I am a Motor City Machine Guns mark, I also understand that Motor City Machine Guns were hired to make the tag team division better, but
And they've
not
done.
necessarily hired to be like for the tag team division to be built around them.
They've made the division better.
They have
So
made the
if
division
that's what they
better.
were hired for, then
Yeah.
they've succeeded.
Hmm. Absolutely. Putting you on the spot,
Sure.
Dan.
Yeah.
What was your favorite indie match of WrestleMania weekend?
Ooh. I can tell you what my least favorite indie match was, and that's Sabu versus Joey Janela. Uh,
Oh, really? My least favorite was Butterbean versus Minoru Suzuki.
I didn't get around to seeing it. I didn't get around to seeing it, which I'm upset about.
Mhm.
I think as a selfishly, it's a toss up between two matches on Bloodsport because that's the show that I watched the most of.
Yeah.
But Josh Barnett and Gabe Kidd and Timothy Thatcher and Pete Dunne.
Oh, nice, nice. I would put Gresham versus Zack Saber Jr. up there as one of the matches of the weekend. There's still some shows I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, me
I
too.
hate to say it.
I watched a lot of shows though. I watched a lot that weekend.
Yeah,
I was proud of myself for how much I got in. Um,
I gotta say I was a little. Oh, let me just say what my favorite match of the weekend was. Um, just because it had the most story with it and the way that it has um, progressed to this point too makes it all the more interesting. And that was Mask versus Career, Fuego del Sol versus Atticus Kogar
it
from
was a good
Joey
match.
Janela's Spring Break, man.
It was a
Uh,
good match. It was a really
and
good match, and I didn't see the ending coming.
did not see the ending coming. Are you aware of some things that have transpired since the last GCW show?
You sent me the I'm no longer Fuego thing
Yeah,
from YouTube, and I watched that. I can't remember the guy's name right off the top of my head.
KJ Orso. I guess
KJ
that's his
Orso.
real
Yes.
name, Fuego del Sol. So Fuego del Sol lost the match to Atticus Kogar. He had to unmask, um, you know, and then put his boots in the ring, presumably to retire. Kind of had some pause about this because I was like, oh, I feel like this might be a storyline or something. Turns out it is. He returned. He has turned heel. He turned on his tag team partner, Sam Stackhouse.
Yep.
Is aligned with Atticus Kogar now. Um, when you think about Fuego del Sol, he's somebody that like I feel like he was there in AEW, but we didn't really pay much attention to him. But like when you
Mhm.
think back on it, like he had a fun little tag team with Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
He was featured enough on like being the elite and stuff that people started to like get familiar with him. He's part of the crew. He was part of the crew with like Sammy Guevara.
Sure.
Um, he's somebody that's kind of built a lot of goodwill
Hmm.
uh, with some really prominent names in the business. And now he's in GCW, and this character transformation right now, I think I like it so much because it like reminds me of when a wrestler from WCW or WWF would head to ECW and reinvent themselves.
Like
Um,
Stone Cold.
yes, like Stone Cold. Like this also reminds me of when Matt Bourne got fired as Doink the Clown in WWE,
Hmm.
and he moved over to ECW, and he became Born again, and he had like half Doink face paint, half his face paint, and was just kind of this psychotic character. Um, Yeah, I just think that this is something really interesting and cool that GCW is doing right now. Um, and I want to see where it goes. Like Fuego, to me as a wrestler, he doesn't really do anything in the ring to really set himself apart. But this character development that he's doing right now is absolutely setting him apart from everybody else, and I commend him for that. And I
Well,
think the fact that like this match has grabbed me so much is a testament to how well they're doing with this storyline.
Well, I think also masks now are as popular as ever in American wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Between AEW and WWE, and WWE purchasing AAA, and AEW working so closely with CMLL
Mm-hmm.
that maybe he was just like, I don't want to be just another masked wrestler in what is, you know, a sea of them at this point.
Yeah,
So good on him for sort of trying to adapt a character and doing it in a place where he can grow in
yeah,
GCW, where he might not have had the
and
space to do so in AEW.
he's not going to be artistically stifled though either
No.
in GCW, and that like they're going to have he's going to have free reign to like do what he wants and be the character that he wants to be. So yeah, I'm just that really grabbed me, that whole storyline, and I'm interested to see like how it progresses and what more we see out of them, because I think just Atticus Kogar is such an interesting character, so I'd love to see what his influence is going to be on the way though.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're
Just
seeing the
really like
beginnings of
that.
that. Yeah, man. Some other things that happen in a very unprecedented move. WWE announced WrestleMania weekend that they have acquired AAA.
Boo.
So you're not a fan of it, okay,
Not
man?
a fan.
How about you take it away?
I don't like it. I think they're just fucking copying AEW, like truthfully, and working with other promotions that closely. But it's never good when a big guy buys up a little guy.
They're not really a little guy though. AAA. I mean, like they used to be
They are here,
a lot bigger.
and
I The other thing is they've had money problems over the last like 10 years,
yeah.
so I feel like they need better overhead. So getting purchased by WWE was probably in their best interest financially. I can see what you mean. It might water down the AAA product. I'm not going to rule that out as a possibility. But I'm also of the mindset of too early to tell. I am going to kind of see it through, see what comes out of
Well,
it, because
I'll
this
watch this. I'll watch this Worlds Collide show. I'm
this World
interested to
Collide
see what
show I
they
think is
do.
going to be really good.
I'm intrigued to see what they do and how they do it, and
Hmm.
but you know, do I think it's good for the wrestling landscape on a whole? No, I don't.
Yeah. Um, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, like what's your like early forecast of how the TNA WWE relationship has been so far?
The TNA wrestlers feel like an afterthought on WWE programming, so why bother?
Yeah, I do kind of feel that way to an extent,
I mean, there's some
especially with.
bright spots. There's some bright spots. Joe Hendry crossing over to NXT has been a bright spot
Mhm.
for them, not for me personally. You know my feelings on him. I'm not a big, huge fan, but it works for them. Trick Williams crossing over works for them. Trick is, I don't know, man. I've never really taken Trick all that seriously. Um, I've never been a huge fan of Trick. I think Obafemi is just better. Personally, I
I
think
like
he,
Obafemi more. Actually, out of the WrestleMania weekend main event at NXT, I like Javon Evans better than both
sure.
of them.
Well, Javon is more fun to watch than any of them. That was a
Yeah,
fantastic
yeah.
match that we didn't even mention.
Yeah, but I think Trick's definitely built some credibility. I mean, I go back to the matches that he had with Dragunov. He really improved at that time. His matches with Carmelo were really good. I mean, obviously, yes, he was in there with guys that can work their asses off. But the fact that he was able to keep up certainly means something. I like Trick. I just think that I'm just curious to see if he really translates to the main roster. I think he can.
I like him as a heel better.
I kind of do like him as a heel better. Yeah.
I'll definitely give you that. The heel edge to him definitely is more intriguing than the wannabe baby face.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm selling him a little bit short right now. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Um, I also just want to mention that we did have some WWE releases. I mentioned it earlier. We had mentioned Dakota Kai, other notable people that have been released. Strowman, Oro
Yeah.
Mensa, who's someone I was personally a fan of, really big fan of his ring work. Kaden and Katana.
Yeah, that surprises me a little bit. They're kind of a mainstay in that women's tag division if they needed somebody.
Mm-hmm. And Gigi Dolan, too.
That doesn't surprise me that much. I feel like she's been injured more than she's been not injured,
That's true. And I think that was the reasoning for Dakota Kai,
which sucks.
unfortunately. You know?
That's the big one for me, man. I just wish I hope I don't hope everybody goes to AEW. I've grown out of that phase, but I hope Dakota goes because I think she could fit in really well in that women's division.
Fuck yes.
Um,
Absolutely. And I think and she won't be wrestling as much.
yeah,
It won't be as demanding of a schedule for her.
for sure.
You know?
That she would make a huge addition to that women's division.
Definitely. And her and then also Carl Fredericks, Eddie Thorpe, he got
That
released.
surprised me a lot, actually, because it seems like they were just using him really recently in NXT
in like the main event scene.
in the main event scene. So he can go straight back to New Japan and fit right back in, no problem.
I think that it's safe to assume he's going to be in War Dogs because all those guys that are in War Dogs are the guys that he came up with in the New Japan dojo.
Yeah.
So it makes too much sense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have a full list of them, but those are the ones to me that were just kind of like what.
Shayna Baszler.
Oh yeah, Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Maybe I just kind of felt comfortable like moving on with this one because I feel like Shayna seems like someone to me that was just kind of like, fuck it, I'll just go with emotions. You know,
I love Shayna's in-ring style.
Yeah, and they should have given her a title run.
Yeah.
And I thought that, dude,
Vampire
that
Shayna.
horrible feud with her and Ronda.
Vampire Shayna?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
I hated it.
That was like the tail end of Vince, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was bad.
Oh my God. Terrible. Yeah, so wish everybody the best in their future endeavors, like always. Also, let me just hit you with this, Dan, before we hit on a little bit of AEW. The best of the Super Juniors starts this week.
Oh, super.
Yeah. And there's a pretty cool field that they have here in the A block. They have Master Wado, Hiromu Takahashi. You got Kosei Fujita. You got Ninja Mac, Robbie X, Francisco Akira, Clark Connors, Kanemaru, and Dragon Dia from Dragon Gate. And then in the B block, you got El Desperado, Taguchi, Robbie Eagles, Yo, Kevin Knight, Taiji Ishimori, Titan, Sho, Nick Wayne making his best of the Super Junior debut, and Mao making his best of the Super Junior debut.
Who you got?
You know, just kind of looking at everything here, I think the final is going to be Hiromu Takahashi versus my B block sleeper, Kevin Knight.
Oh, I love that pick. I don't think that they're going to put an AEW guy in the final.
I think he loses the final, but I think he's in the final.
So you got Takahashi?
Yeah.
Doesn't he win like every year?
Yes. He's just a god, man. He's a god. maybe Clark Connors, maybe
Yeah,
Clark Connors
I had Clark Connors, to be completely honest with you. That
to
was
win
my
it
guy.
all.
What?
To win it all.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot, man. I think it's funny that Drilla Maloney isn't in this because I think he's pretty obviously a heavyweight now. That dude's huge.
Poor Drilla.
He was in the he was a junior tag champion with Clark Connors, but
Yep.
I think someone else to watch out for in this tournament that is slept on is Robbie X. Have you ever seen him wrestle before?
I haven't. I've heard the name. I haven't
He's
seen
from
any.
the UK. He's like a Rev Pro mainstay. He joined Bullet Club earlier this year, so he's actually a member of the War Dogs too.
Oh, okay.
So, but he's
So
crazy
I need
athletic.
I need a Bullet Club explanation real quick because it's been a while.
Uh-huh.
Does Bullet Club exist outside of the War Dogs?
There, we have progress in the in this Bullet Club storyline. Actually, recently they had a 5-on-5 like cage warfare match between the War Dogs and House of Torture, and as a result, the House of Torture have been kicked out of Bullet Club.
Okay, so the Bullet Club is just War Dogs now.
It just seems to be the War Dogs, yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Things are a little bit more stable now. It doesn't make it,
Yeah.
I don't think even when you think about the extensions of Bullet Club, I don't think Jay White is technically Bullet Club anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think Ace Austin and Chris Bay are Bullet Club really anymore either.
No.
So I think the War Dogs are really the only Bullet Club at this point.
That's okay. They're the coolest part of Bullet Club anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I won't lie, I like Bullet Club Gold. I did.
Yeah. It worked for a little bit. Yeah, so I just also want to touch on some AEW real quick, some of the stuff that's going on right now.
Okay.
What would you say is your favorite thing happening in AEW right now of all the storylines that are happening?
Ooh. I actually like Samoa Joe and Moxley. I'm enjoying it. I'm very much enjoying. I know that's a crazy thought to think, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I definitely am enjoying it as well. I think that Joe is somebody that is long overdue to be feuding with the Death Riders.
Yeah,
we
said that for a year.
Yeah. So I think the only thing with me, which is why it wouldn't be like my favorite thing going, is just I feel like it's pretty obvious that Mox is going to retain and he's going to drop it against the winner of the Owen Hart Cup at All In.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't have a whole lot of hope for Joe winning it, but it's going to be a great match and it's a great feud. And Joe's an amazing promo. Moxley's a good promo too.
Moxley, when he's not speaking gibberish, he's a good promo. He's getting to the point.
Yeah, definitely. I would say my favorite thing in AEW right now is everything that's happening with FTR and Stokely as their new manager.
Yeah, it's just hard to see the direction of it. Like who's going to be the team to truly come out and stop them. But
I think that they're going to be the team to beat the Hurt Business.
You think so?
Syndicate. Yeah, I do.
Because of MJF?
Possibly, and maybe MJF aligns with FTR again.
That'd be interesting. The Pinnacle returns.
Yeah. Yep. A smaller version of the Pinnacle. Yeah. Obviously, there's no Sean Spears to be there with them.
Wardlow's still around.
Do you want Wardlow? Do you miss Wardlow?
No.
I don't give a fuck about Wardlow. And I hate to say that because, he's not a bad wrestler. He's just someone I don't care about.
No, he does nothing for me.
Yeah. I think that we got Hangman versus Ospreay coming up, which is going to be incredible. We have been getting really banger matches every week. I thought Hangman versus Kyle Fletcher from last week's Dynamite was one of the best matches of the year, legit.
Great TV match, absolutely.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view level.
Mm-hmm. Excellent stuff. Fletcher just so fucking good, man. Can't
He
get
just
over it.
he just gets better and better. He
Mm-hmm.
really isn't lying when he said he's the future.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's pretty obvious. We got Tony Storm versus Mercedes on the horizon.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
and it's already
or
given.
Jamie Hayter, because I don't think Jamie Hayter stands a chance against Mercedes tonight.
Yeah,
Is that tonight, the final, or is that at
I
the next
believe
pay?
so. No, I don't know. No, I thought the final was at Double or Nothing.
Okay.
I thought. I could
All
be
right.
wrong.
So it is going to be Hayter against Mercedes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's going to be a hell of a match.
Hater is so good, man, and I wouldn't be surprised, man, if she's the one to finally beat Mercedes, especially if it's a non-title match.
I think that what should happen is have Mercedes beat Hayter by cheating.
Yeah.
And she wins the cup. Hayter's pissed off and tells Mercedes that she wants a rematch.
Uh-huh.
Instead, she puts the TBS title on the line. And Mercedes tries to pull her shit again in that match. Tony Storm stops her, which leads to Jamie Hayter winning the TBS title, and then you're off to the races with Tony Storm and Mercedes.
Interesting. I like it. I can
Mhm.
see it.
That's how I would book it, but what do I know? Anyway, yeah, I'd say let's just preview Backlash and call it a night.
Absolutely. Sure.
Yeah, man.
Let's pull
I
up
think
this
that
backlash.
we've done a nice little abridged version of wrestling over the last. Oh, you know what I do have to mention too?
Yes, sir.
I don't think I ever told you, but part of me kind of hated that the West Side Gun show.
It had its moments.
I thought the main event was solid. The last two matches were good, but
There was some weak.
overall, I
There was
was
some
just
weak
like,
shit.
there was some very weak shit. And one of the things I really liked about the show too was Kaz on commentary, because he's somebody that I really enjoy the wrestling opinions of on the Masked Man show. If you ever
Yeah,
listened to that before,
I
um,
haven't.
yeah, Kazim Fayud, I think is
Yeah,
his last name or something like that.
I know the name. Yeah.
Yeah, he was on commentary and he's awesome. And
Okay.
yeah, but I guess I just kind of had to get that off my chest because I committed to it, and
And you wish
part
you
of
had.
I was just like, what the fuck? Some of the shit that they were pulling off. Um, all right, so let's preview Backlash. Let's start with the singles match for the Intercontinental Championship. The newly crowned Intercontinental Champion Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that, but yeah.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Defense against Penta. Um, I guess I can say with this, it makes storyline sense. It was a way for Braun to lose this belt without getting pins.
Yep.
I think we kind of saw that happening. And this is leading into ultimately Dominic and Finn feuding with each other, which oddly I think Dominic's going to end up being the babyface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because of the way Finn's been playing things,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh no, man, I'm kidding. Like, I'll
Yeah,
take
yeah.
it. Yeah, no, it should play out that way.
I think the fans are going to be okay with cheering Dominic too.
I think Dom has organically become a babyface. A friend of mine who is a wrestling fan texts me every now and again, and one of the things he wanted was Dom to win at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I don't know his level of fandom, whether it's casual but I know he watches regularly. So
I'm open to him having a babyface run, and you know why?
he's
Because
funny.
I feel like we haven't seen the best of Dominic Mysterio work rate wise in his entire career. Just for the fact, like when he was a babyface before, he was in a tag team with his dad,
Yeah.
and this like most of the shit that he does as a heel, he's always cheating and doing the heel shit and not really like. I want to see a 5-star match with Dominic Mysterio. I'm interested. I think he might be able to pull it off.
You might get one if he ultimately ends up wrestling AJ, because that looks like the route that they might go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's still going to be a heel then, but we'll see. We'll see.
But, yeah, you never know, man.
But yeah, I think Dominic retains here by nefarious means because he's not going to go clean over Penta.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. All right, final fatal 4-way match for the WWE United States Championship. You got Jacob Fatu defending against LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. I think that I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think this might end up being another Braun Breaker situation.
How so?
I think that maybe like Drew McIntyre pins Damian Priest or something like that happens, and you get the belt off of Jacob Fatu without having the title, because for some reason, and I don't know if this is going to happen, but I think Jacob Fatu would be great to be positioned as a challenger for Jay. Get drafted to Raw and have him be the challenger for Jay.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. I like the possibility of it. It would depend on the draft, obviously.
Yeah. If I had a bet, though, I'd probably say Fatu to retain. But I do think there's a chance that there's a situation where he loses the belt without getting pinned.
If he loses, he's not getting pinned. That's given. That's the only reason for these matches, is to keep monsters clean. But I think he retains here. I don't think you take the title off of him yet, unless you do have a plan for him, because you don't not have a plan for a guy like that.
For sure. All right, next singles match. The former world champion Gunther faces WWE commentator Pat McAfee. I hope Gunther absolutely fucks him up. And
I wasn't looking forward to this match until the promos they cut.
Hey, listen, I'm not going to take anything away from the promos. Like, great stuff and everything. But you cannot, like, convince me that this guy who is a punter in the NFL has a chance against the most dominant champion that the WWE has seen in years.
I mean, I'm not going to say that McAfee's going to win, but I'm intrigued by the match, and they sold me on it with the promos.
Yeah, and I think that with the last promo, I think Gunther has to kill him.
Yeah.
I think I want to see... I think that we can get a moment where, like, people have a standing ovation for McAfee, and they give him a standing ovation because of the beating he endured.
Oh, he's going to endure a beating.
Yeah.
And he can take it. He's an athletic dude, man. I think he's going to put on a good match.
He's going to put on a good match, but it would be a sin to the wrestling gods if they had McAfee go over Gunther. So let's just hope with every fiber of our being that does not happen.
We will pray.
Yes, I will pray. I think the wrestling gods are like Harley Race, Terry Funk, and I don't know. Owen Hart. There we go.
Owen Hart. Maybe Brett.
Brett, even like just Brett because he's dead inside.
Because he is dead inside.
All right. Singles match for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. I'm excited for this, man.
I am too.
Lyra Valkyria defending against Becky Lynch. I got Becky on this one.
Yeah,
and
the man
I
wins.
think this is going to be a great match. I thought that the promo on Monday was awesome.
I thought the promo was a little sloppy.
I thought Lyra's rebuttal was sloppy.
See, I thought Becky came out of the shoot a little sloppy, to be honest with you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that was just my own opinion, but she tightened it up, and and it was serviceable at the end.
I think you can really tell through the promos too that how much Becky cares about Lyra.
Yeah.
Because I think she is pouring her heart out to try to get Lyra over, and I like to see that. But ultimately, this is definitely going to lead to Becky Lynch versus Bayley, and I hope they have like a series of very classic matches against each other for the
They
women's
very well could.
championship. I think that's the vision, and I think we're going to see it through. And I'm
Okay.
excited. I'm excited.
All right.
All right, and then finally, for the WWE Undisputed Championship, St. Louis's own Randy Orton is facing the champion John Cena. Man, this is going to be an emotionally driven match for sure.
Great story.
Great story leading into it. It's going to be a heartbreaker. I hope people are prepared for their hearts to be broken because I do not see how Randy Orton beats John Cena here with the run that John Cena is on right now.
Unless they're going to go like back in the day where they just trade the title back and forth.
They did just for old time's sake.
Sake.
I wouldn't be upset. You know, like
it'd be
John Cena losing the belt on his first defense is kind of a good story.
Would be so John Cena.
When you think of the fact that like this has been a storyline of him being desperate for so long and like and be desperate because he knows he doesn't have it.
Yeah.
So like that could lead to I wouldn't mind if the title just like went back and forth one round.
No, me neither. Me neither. That's
but
why I'm pulling for Orton on this in this match.
I am pulling for Orton too. But I think Cena wins.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a nice, tight little pay-per-view, though. I think it's going to be a good show.
I think so too. I'm looking forward to it.
Very much so.
But yeah, glad we're back. Glad we're hopefully going to be back into the swing of things. I know we said that before.
We'll be back in the swing of things. My schedule's going to straighten itself out after training. We'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely. But guys, as always, follow us on Instagram at Smarknado, on Twitter at Smarknado1. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and go check out up to the left corner of your screen. There's our QR code. All our stuff is there. Dan, you have anything left for us?
I do have one heartbreaking thing to share. Some of my my friends already know this, but since we haven't had a show in a while, I want to tell everybody and give a shout out to Asuka, my pet. We had to put her to sleep the 18th of April. She was a very important part of our family, obviously named for a wrestler.
Very sweet dog.
So everybody knows how much she meant to me. So I just want to give a big old shout out to her, and
I love you, man.
Rest in power, baby girl.
Yes, absolutely.
And stay fresh, cheese bags.
Keep watching wrestling.